All right, there we go. I think I'm unmuted now. All right, very good. Let's see this here. Real quick, shout out to our sponsor here, SunnyDrifters.com. Use code Kayak15, get 15% off. He gives 2 free packs to the first 2 non-caching participants in the open month long every single month. And Kayak Catfishing Tournaments.store directly helps support me in running these events. If there's an item you want that you don't see listed, let me know. I could essentially put any piece of merchandise you could think of out there. So, hold on. See this whole. My dog likes catfish hats too. I had that backwards because this hole's driving me nuts, but whatever. Or I had it forward because that hole's driving me insane. Over to the first round bracket play. So the way the Catfish King worked, if you're new to this, there were 11 guys who qualified for this Catfish King. The way you qualified was you had to take top 2 in any tournament in the first half of the year, and you had to participate in at least 3 events leading up in the first 6 months of the year. The top 2 from each pool faced off in 1 versus 1. So the winner of Pool A faced second place Pool B and vice versa. So it ended up being Dan Scheida versus Ryan Bortz, and then Justin Schuerman versus Justin Johnston. The way the bracket semifinals worked was each set of competitors got to choose their own format to try and level the playing field out. Ryan and Dan couldn't have had a more level playing field. Ryan traveled all the way to the James River, and he fished with Dan. They did your 3 biggest fish over 24 hours, both fishing the same exact waters with each other, which was really neat. Ryan ended up winning that 108 to 105. And let's take a look at some of his fish. Here's a 38-incher. Ryan was talking to me about this one. He said this one was actually closer to like 39, 39 and a quarter. One of the drawbacks of the catchboard is the front bump isn't really that big. So there's a big portion of this front of this fish's face that's not being bumped, so he's losing inches. But I mean, it's a great fish. It's still a 38.5-inch fish for scoring purposes. A little backstory too. Ryan had his kayak slide off his trailer a little bit and a big hole rubbed into it. So he was not only fishing Dan's water, sleeping at Dan's house, eating Dan's food, he was also using Dan's kayak. Dan lent him the, I want to say Predator PDL. I think that's the name of it. Don't quote me though. I'm almost positive it was the Predator, the Old Town Predator though. Let's see here. He had a 34.75-inch fish. That's an ugly male. And then he had another 34.75-inch fish right here. Not as ugly. And then over to Dan's fish, Dan had a 43-incher, which is a tank. And then, that's nifty, using the pedals to balance the fish. That's a good idea. And then he went on to having a 33-inch fish and a 29-inch fish. Very good. All right, that wraps up Ryan versus Dan, and then you go over to Justin versus Justin. They picked any 48-hour stretch over the 2-week period that they had to fish, and they picked 4 biggest fish. So Justin Schuerman traveled down to the Mississippi River first to fish. Didn't have luck there, and then he went up and fished the lake in Illinois and didn't have much luck there either. Let's shout out to Justin Schuerman. Without a doubt, travels the most out of any of us. Any given tournament, he might do more traveling than every single angler on that tournament board combined on any given tournament. So huge shout out to Justin Schuerman, fierce competitor, great fisherman. He went big or went home, and the big waters just didn't produce. I had the same issue. I tried going big and only going big for 2 weeks, and I didn't catch anything either. And then JJ here, Justin Johnson, he went down to Nickajack for his 48 hours to try and get into some big fish, and he did. So let's check these out. He ended up with 4 fish total, 40.5 inches, 40 inches, 39.5 inches, 34.25 inches. And if anyone's in the chat, I am staring at the chat this time so I don't miss anything. So if anyone has any questions throughout the process, throw it out there and I'll answer everything. That's my biggest, the thing people hate about me the most when I do these lives is I tend to not read the chat. So here's a 40.5-incher. Nice. Here's his 40-incher. Here is his 39.5 incher. And here is his 34.25 incher. That is a bowling ball. That thing might have weighed as much as the 39.5 incher. Jeez, that thing's fat. All right, moving on to the finals. Whoops, I was in the configuration. So now it is going to be Justin Johnson versus Ryan Bortz. The two seeds from each side won their respective halves, and they're going to face off in a 1-versus-1 final. The final is going to run the same exact way that the semifinals ran. Ryan and Justin talked out a format. They technically have until August 1st at midnight to complete any format that they want. The format that they agreed on is pick your 24 hours, 3 biggest fish. So they can pick any 24-hour stretch that they want between now and August 1st, and it's their 3 biggest fish over that 24-hour span. Justin tentatively is fishing this Thursday midnight to midnight, and Ryan tentatively is fishing this Friday midnight to midnight. So that's actually kind of really neat. One, it'll be done pretty quick. This Catfish King event I was expecting to run through August 1st is going to be done July 23rd or so. And JJ is going to be finishing right when Ryan starts. So Ryan's going to know what he has to fish or what he has to beat while he's fishing. So a little added pressure for him or vice versa. Maybe JJ, maybe he'll be sweating it out for those 24 hours. Regardless, whoever wins, they win about $130. I forget the exact number. But they also, I probably should have had this ready ahead of time. They also win this belt right here, the Catfish King belt. Boom. That has black plates that I still haven't put on. Then if you move over, you got the KCT logo on it, and you also have a crown on this. This is a legitimate belt. It's really hard to hold. And there's also a crown. This is almost like a $200 belt. And whoever wins will be getting this. This will be a traveling belt. Whoever wins the Catfish King next, I will send the money to the current king to mail out to the next Catfish King. And I will be traveling to whoever wins. If Ryan wins, I'll meet up with him. I'll hand it off there. If JJ wins, I'm going to use that as an excuse to go meet JJ for the first time and fish with him and fish his water. So only a few people in the chat. Any questions before I hop off of here? I got this done in under 10 minutes. That's the goal. I don't want to drag these things out if I don't have to. All right. No questions. We're out of here. Best of luck, competitors.